Quotes from James Smith. From the Kindle, Deep Christian Quotes and Bible Verses. First quote. The life of God in the soul. This life of God in the soul is spiritual, manifesting itself in spiritual desires and spiritual exercises. It gives us a taste for spiritual things, and requires to be sustained by spiritual provision, Christ, the bread of life, and the living water which He gives. It is energetic, and therefore it urges, and impels us, to perform spiritual duties, overcome all carnal customs and habits, and to seek conformity to Christ in all things. Second quote. The life of God in the soul. His life of God in the soul is useful, not only to its possessor, as qualifying him for spiritual duties and privileges, and making him fit for heaven, but it always makes those in whom it dwells useful to others, both saints and sinners. A useless man cannot have the life of God within him, for wherever it is, it makes him feel that he must be useful, must do good to others to some extent. Third quote. The life of God in the soul. This life of God in the soul is eternal, it can never die, and never be destroyed. The soul is not more immortal than is this life which God gives. Yes, outside of God Himself, we know of nothing that is more certain of endless duration than this life of God in the soul. It is the source of all that is holy, useful, happy, and glorious. He who has this life can never perish, nor can anyone wrest him from the Savior's omnipotent hands. Fourth quote. The life of God in the soul. This life of God in the soul is for God's glory. As it originated in His sovereign good pleasure, so it is communicated and is maintained for His honor. And as it is maintained for His honor, so it is designed and intended to advance His glory. Fifth quote. The life of God in the soul. This life of God in the soul will ultimately be therefore a life with God. We believe that we shall live with Him. It brings us into His spiritual presence now, and gives us the enjoyment of His love. And it introduces us into His glorious presence at death, and then we shall have a life of perfect enjoyment, and purest pleasure forever. We will be as holy, as God is holy, as happy, as God is happy, as immortal, as God is immortal. Thanks.